Yo, what's up, guys? Joel Hoffman here, and I got another sober training video coming for you guys today. And what I wanted to talk about today is getting off the fence. Look, guys, I know after living a lifetime or however long you've lived in the drug or alcohol lifestyle, whenever you start trying to think differently and you start exploring different options, it can become very difficult to break those old patterns. It can become very difficult to say no to those old ways, to say no to those old temptations. Believe me, I understand. I lived a lifetime through it. I failed 10,000 times just to figure out the right way to do this thing. So that's why I try to communicate everything I've learned to you guys. So whenever it comes to getting off this fence, like what happens is a lot of times you can have all this emotion going and you're like, yeah, fuck that. I'm not going to drink anymore. I'm not going to use anymore, whatever it is. And then that's nighttime, right? And you're still under the influence or whatever. And then the morning time comes, and then that sober side of you is there. And then that physical dependence you've built up or mental pattern that you've been used to taking is there. And that strong urge comes in the morning and you're like, man, I got to have this thing. And it becomes that's typically one of the toughest parts of the day whenever it comes to trying to quit, like that first day, that first morning whenever you wake up. Like cigarettes, for example, people are so used to getting up and smoking that cigarettes. I know it was a big thing for me. That's the first time of the day that you got to win, though. If you can win that part of the day, that sets the tone for the rest of the day in order to overcome and break those temptations. So understand, like I've talked about before, why it is that you have the urge to use, and understand that it's natural to have that urge, that you're just following the pattern that you've been going down so long. So in order to break that urge, we know that we have to say no within the first 5 seconds. We know that we have to redirect our thoughts and we have to get busy. So definitely get busy. But whenever it comes time to making that choice, that's the choice. That's the gut check moment. And you can't go back to thinking, oh, well, shit, today's not the day. I guess I'll start tomorrow, because that's what happens. And then tomorrow becomes the next day and the next day. And then it turns into months and to years. And it's always, I'm going to quit tomorrow. I'm going to stop tomorrow. I got all this stuff to take care of today. I just can't deal with the stress today. I'll have to quit tomorrow. And that's the way it becomes. So you have to be very aware of that cycle and understand that in order to quit, you got to get off the fence, man. You got to get off the fence. You can't keep going back to that same old way of thinking that you need to have that alcohol or those drugs. You can't go back to it and think that you're going to quit. You have to be as serious in the morning time whenever you wake up that you were the day before whenever you made that commitment. You have to stay committed. Whenever it comes to getting off the fence, if there's a level of commitment involved, that's why I don't even count my days, because I'm committed for the rest of my life. Whenever you get off the fence, it's understanding that drug or alcohol is your enemy. It's understanding that shit's killing you. Understanding that shit robbed you of so much time and so much of your life. Now, understanding also that there's a better version of yourself inside of you, that you're capable of so much more, that you have so much potential, that you can quit if you put your mind to it. You can quit if you make it important enough to you. So many times I see people that are on the verge of quitting, but it isn't important enough to them. But if you put their freedom on the line or their ability to make money on the line, if they start having to take piss tests for a job or something like that, then they have the ability to quit. But before, they could have never quit. But whenever the circumstances came that they had to, then it became important enough. And all of a sudden they have the power in order to quit. The power has always been within you. The power is in you every day that you have an opportunity to wake up. The power is inside of you. Is it easy to change? Hell no. Is it easy to overcome that gut check moment? Hell no. But in order to change, you have to get off the fence. You can't think that you're going to go back to the old way of thinking and be successful. You can't go back to thinking about going hang out with the people that you used to drink or do drugs with on the regular. You can't go around those people all the time. I mean, hell, you need to stay away from them for a while. If you're just now starting to quit, you need to stay away from them for a while. I've talked about this in my other videos. So just believing that you can be different is huge, guys. Believe that you can be different. Believe that you can change, because there's nothing in life that you will accomplish if you don't believe it first. And I see a lot of times people, they talk about changing, but I know in their heart of hearts, they don't believe it. They don't believe it's possible. They believe that they're slaved and they're trapped in this addiction for the rest of their life. Maybe it's because they haven't tried hard enough. Maybe it's because They've tried, but they haven't succeeded. But I'm going to tell you, the people that haven't succeeded are the ones that didn't do all the little things in order to change. The ones that didn't eliminate themselves from the old environment or remove themselves from the old environment. The ones that didn't eliminate those negative influences. The ones that didn't put in the works. Those are the ones that didn't change. But the people that do change are the one that don't straddle the fence. You can't straddle the fence and expect for some lucky strike to come along and make you change, right? So believe that you can, and then focus on getting off the fence and not being, okay, maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't. Should I get high today? Maybe I shouldn't. I really don't want to, but it's not that important to me that if I do mess up, it won't be the end of the world. Like, you need to feel some type of way about it. Now, granted, if somebody relapses, that's a hard thing to do. Like, granted, it's very tough to break the habit. It's very tough to break the addiction. So it's not like I'm trying to beat people up about it or say that you should feel like shit every day, but it should be very important to yourself in order to change. Because if it's not, you won't change. So that comes with raising your standards. So there becomes a level of standards. Like, there's certain type of people that I just don't fuck with anymore. I will not spend my time with them. Like, if I'm trying to help somebody, that's one thing, but I'm not going to just chill with you and spend my time all day with you working or doing whatever I need to do. If you're on this low level of thinking, man, like, I can't mess with you anymore. If you're focused on drugs, alcohol, small, mediocre thinking or below average thinking, just trying to get by for the day type thinking. Like, I'm not trying to mess with those people anymore because they rub off on me. They rub off on you. Other people's thinking, behaviors, and vibes will rub off on you. That's why it's so important to set new standards. Set new standards for the way that you live. Tell yourself that you're not going to be, if you're dirty and organized, tell yourself that you're not going to be dirty and unorganized anymore. If you're not making very good money, make more money. Make that your standard. If you're living in a shithole, make it your standard not to live in a shithole, to get somewhere nice. And it's all up to you. You can try to blame the circumstances all you want to. Go back and watch my videos. You'll figure out that you can't blame your circumstances. It's all on you. It's on you, guys. So I know that you might have been through some shit. I know that the hell might have been thrown your way, but that doesn't mean that you don't have the power to overcome. If you are still here, that means that you have the power to overcome. Okay, so setting new standards for yourself where you're not going to live the way that you were living before. That goes along. Once you do that, then you can get off the fence. Then you believe, when you start believing that you can, then you believe that you can achieve those standards, that you can achieve new goals. So, like, finding new highs, guys, that's a big thing. I go over this over and over again about exercising, playing an instrument, learning new things, learn a new language, try new things, man. Whatever it is, whether it's ice skating or roller skating or anything, like anything except sitting on your ass, then you got to find new highs. And what happens is you get these natural highs and you find new highs in life because you have to find new rewards for your brain, because when you're trapped in addiction so long, that's the only reward that your brain knows. So find new highs, and like, go on a diet for a while. But then after you do your thing for 7-10 days, a month, whatever, however you want to do it, like, reward yourself. You know, reward yourself with a soda or some candy or a fucking muffin or some ice cream or some shit, you know, like, reward yourself that day. You might not feel great the day after eating like shit, but just reward yourself. And that way you remember how good that ice cream tastes after you haven't ate it for so long, or that soda might taste after you haven't drank it for so long. And it helps rewire that reward system in your brain to activate it to think about new things other than getting fucked up. And find every new high that you can. If you're like a salesman, go make a bunch of sales, get that adrenaline, go climb some fucking mountains, go skydiving, go do all kinds of cool shit that doesn't involve being addicted to drugs that will kill you. And then dealing with lows, guys, like the day-to-day thing of the day-to-day life of just dealing with shit every day, of dealing with your boss or whatever it is. Like, you got to remember that there's seasons in life. There's spring, summer, fall, and winter. You're going to have a winter. And whenever it's wintertime, just remember that spring's going to come. But in spring, just remember, it might not stay great like this forever. You hope that it does, but you know, there's going to come lows. It's just a part of life. Like, pain comes, tragedy comes, shit happens, man. 2020 is a perfect example. There's shit that'll happen that you can't control. So whenever those things happen, typically, whenever you hit the lows, 99% of the time, that's where people relapse, right? So that's where you have to learn how to deal with those emotions. You got to learn about emotional intelligence. You got to learn to control your breathing. You got to learn to be aware of your thoughts. That way, if you have thoughts of acting a fool, you don't act a fool. If you have thoughts of relapsing, you learn how to deal with them. As long as you learn how to be aware, right? So dealing with lows is a big thing. Understand that whenever you're in the low spot, that you can come up, but you're never going to get out of that low spot just by like chance. Like, I guess if you go play the lottery every day and hope that maybe one day you make some money, but you got to work your way out of that low spot. Don't be scared to. Like, there might be days where you just don't feel like you have it inside you. You don't feel the energy, like you just can't get out of bed. Your dopamine level is so low, you feel like so much like shit, you can't get out of bed. Maybe that's one day, but guess what? If that day fucks you up, then you got to focus on getting out of bed the next day. Whatever it is that you're dealing with, you got to focus on not staying in that low depression for too long. I know life's going to come knock you down. It's going to make you feel like shit. It does it to me still. But I have to get up. You have to get up. You can't stay in that low spot. You can't stay down on the dumps. You can't stay on rock bottom. You have to get up every time it happens. And make a promise to yourself that every time I get knocked down, every time some shit happens, every time something happens, hurts my feelings, or I feel disappointed, or whatever the case may be, I'm not going to give up. That's not going to lead me to relapsing. That's not going to lead me to give in to whatever addiction or whatever negative shit that negative voice in my mind is telling me, guys. It's dealing with the lows. Ride the highs. Whenever you're on a high and you're doing good, ride that wave. Keep the ball rolling. And, if you're making a lot of money financially, it isn't time to slack off. If you're doing really good and you're on a roll where you haven't strayed emotionally, you haven't lost your shit in a long time, it's not time to slack off. If you haven't drank in 6 months, it doesn't mean it's time to go to a party with a bunch of people that everybody's going to be drinking, and they're going to talk shit to you because they remember who the old you was. And you're going to deal with that. People are going to remember who the old you are, and they're going to talk shit to you and like try to make fun of you. Like, oh, what, you don't drink anymore? Oh, look at this guy. He's too cool now. He's too cool to drink. He's too good to drink. Oh, he's too good to do drugs with this. They'll literally make you feel bad. If you're ever around people like that, get the fuck away from them. Those people don't give a fuck about you. The only thing they care about is their fucking self. And you might have called them friends for so many years. They might have had your back a time or two, but they ain't for you anymore. They're never going to do anything for you. The best thing that you can do for them is go be the best version of yourself, continue to be sober, and then show them what's possible and show them all the fucking excuses that they made. And they'll be even more pissed off at you then, probably, or talk more shit. But guess what? They won't matter anymore. You'll find new people that won't press you, that won't give in to temptation, that are on a whole different level. And that's what it's all about. But you have to be willing to sacrifice that. And what that includes is some lonely nights, some lonely days, getting out of your comfort zone to meet new people, having to trust new people. It involves all that. And so it's like a lot of times people think whenever you get sober, it's just like, oh, everything changes. But but it's easy, but that's not the way it works. Like, shit gets hard, and you still have emotions to deal with. You still have to go do your job. You still have to do all these things, but without numbing yourself, without giving into that temptation, without getting into that addiction. And it's tough. But whenever you overcome that shit, it's just like anything else, like a tree in the woods. If you plant a tree inside a room that the wind never blows, the tree will fall over time because it's never under any stress. So just remember, every time that you're under stress or shit gets hard, that's just your opportunity to grow. Remember that. That's just your opportunity to grow. So get off the fence, believe in yourself that you can be different, raise your standards, find new highs, and deal with your lows, guys. I love you. You guys can always send me a message, man. Say no to the enemy. You don't have to be a slave to your addiction anymore. I hope this helps somebody out. You guys, please follow me on YouTube. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. Follow me on Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, all that good shit, man. If you guys, like I say, if you need anything, just shoot me a message and I'll get right back with you. You can be better than what you were yesterday. We always have room to level up. You always have room to grow. You always have room just to get a little bit better and a little bit stronger. And if you stayed sober today, I'm fucking proud of you, man. Keep going. If you're struggling, find somebody to reach out to. Find some help. Believe in yourself. Pick up a book. Go run. Do something different. You can't expect different results doing the same shit every day, guys. Just know that. Just know that, y'all. Y'all go have an amazing day and make it happen.